billion, the bulk of which we predict will fall largely on the public housing program. According to reports from your organization and from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, this would put at least 200,000 households at risk of eviction and homelessness. The administration's budget eliminates several other critical programs altogether, including the Community Development Block Grant, Home Investment Partnerships, and Choice Neighborhoods. The budget request would also eliminate the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness at a time when over 500,000 people in this country have no homes. The effort to shut the doors of this important agency is truly short-sighted, harmful, and a clear reminder of where homelessness falls among Republican policy priorities. We also anticipate more threats to the National Housing Trust Fund, a program which all of you in this room have fought so very hard to create and fund, and which is exclusively dedicated to the creation and preservation of housing for extremely low-income households. We were just gaining momentum with this important program, with the first allocation of funding currently in the process of being distributed to states. And states are looking for creative ways to make trust fund dollars go further. For example, I know in my home state of California, the state is planning to leverage. California's in the room. The state is planning to leverage trust fund dollars with state funds this year to increase the amount of the grants that will be rewarded. This is the type of investment we need to house our seniors, our families, our veterans, not the reckless budget cuts Trump has proposed. These shameful budget cuts would worsen the already difficult conditions that our most vulnerable populations face. The lack of affordable units is perhaps the greatest challenge to successfully lifting households out of poverty. Only 1 in 4 families who actually need federal housing assistance currently receives it. I know you all already know this staggering statistic, but we have a deficit of over 7.4 million affordable and available rental units in this country for extremely low-income households. And we continue to struggle to preserve what little affordable housing we do have. In my district alone, we have a deficit of 33,000 affordable and available housing units for extremely low-income households. We must all demand better. Meanwhile, 71% of extremely low-income households spend more than 50% of their income on housing costs. Too often, that puts family in the untenable position of choosing between putting food on the table, paying medical bills, or affording other necessary expenses. My hometown of Los Angeles, homelessness increased by 20% between 2014 and 2015, and increased again by nearly 6% last year. Fortunately for LA, both the city and county have committed significant funding to combating homelessness, a $1.2 billion bond measure from Los Angeles City to build units, and an annual $355 million bond measure from Los Angeles County. However, in order for these measures to be successful, we need to provide the rental assistance needed to ensure that rents are affordable for the people we're seeking to house. And the Trump budget request certainly does not provide that. To the contrary, the Trump budget would irresponsibly and cruelly put more families throughout the country at risk of homelessness with its deep cuts. Their agenda is simply indifferent to the realities of poverty and detached from what is going on in struggling communities. In the face of these challenges, I firmly believe we need not only stand up to harmful proposals, but also advance proactive solutions. That's why this week I will be reintroducing my comprehensive legislation to effectively end homelessness in this country. The Ending Homelessness Act. It is the Ending Homelessness Act of 2017. The bill provides $13.27 billion in new funding over 5 years to federal programs and initiatives that will help the over 500,000 Americans who are currently homeless. These new resources will provide access to both housing and supportive services to help vulnerable Americans achieve safe, decent, and affordable housing, as well as long-term positive life outcomes. This is a moral imperative. We have an obligation to do something to help people living in the streets. The funding outlined in my bill is projected to provide an estimated 410,000 new units of housing for the homeless. But my bill goes beyond just increasing the supply of physical housing units. It also provides funding to support these units by expanding homeless assistance grant, Section 8 vouchers, and providing a permanent funding stream for the National Housing Trust Fund. What's more, my bill provides funding to ensure that the rents for trust fund units will be affordable to those who will be living there. This is an incredibly important policy priority for me. Additionally, a portion of the funding in my bill would be dedicated to increasing the number of social workers to help connect the homeless to the services that they need to find housing, remain stably housed, and otherwise better their lives. Another portion of my funding in my bill would be dedicated to help states and localities integrate their health care and housing systems to better serve the homeless. Finally, my bill would repeal the sunset date for the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness. To ensure all of this funding is efficiently utilized and that the progress we achieve is sustained for years to come. I'm grateful to have the support of the National Low-Income Housing Coalition on this bill, and I'm asking for all of your help in bringing attention to this bold solution to a very serious problem. Did you see that Trump gave a speech recently from the deck of a brand new shiny aircraft carrier? Well, as it happens, that aircraft carrier alone cost about $13 billion. Surely, if we can spend $13 billion on a single aircraft carrier and $500 billion every year on defense, we can spend $13 billion to house our vulnerable. Housing programs. I vow to continue the fight every day for vulnerable families. In addition to the advocacy you are doing here in D.C., please continue that work once you get back to your hometowns and cities. Let your community members know about the harmful plans that the Trump administration has for the important housing programs and how those plans will impact them. Again, I want to thank you for being here in Washington and for having me here today. Now, I want you to know that I was cautioned that I'm not supposed to look as if I'm trying to organize you all. I was told that there were certain things I should not say, but they can't tell me what to say. With all of these wonderful people from all across the country representing the homeless and low housing income communities, and not say we got a fight on our hands and we better get it. And guess what? You know, and I said this over and over again. When Maya Angelou tells you, when they tell you that someone who's talking to you and acting out every day defines themselves and really tells you who they are.
That's right. You better believe it. You better believe them. Believe them.
And so, Trump made a believer out of me during the campaign.
That's right.
He did a whole lot of us.
I've never seen a grown man mock a disabled person. I've never heard somebody who wanted to be president of the United States talk about grabbing women by their private parts.
All right.
Exactly.
I've never heard anybody tell you one thing tomorrow and a different thing the next day.
Hello.
And so, I'm up to this fight.
Go on, girl. Go ahead. Go ahead. All right. All right. Do your thing. Do your thing.
Have we be organized to fight for the least of these?
Yes.
We have to be organized from somebody who came into this campaign with the help of Putin and Russia.
All right.
Good. Yes. Yes.
And dare to come and tell us they're going to undo all of Obamacare. Someone who not only tells us that they're going to repeal the comprehensive health program that gave access to health care for all of us. When we have so many people that we know and we have lived with, who are related to us, who died from preventable disease.
Amen.
Oh, he's got to fight coming. And so,
We got to fight
ladies
for
and
them too.
gentlemen, I know that you work hard, and I know what you do, and I know what goes on. Don't forget, when I first came into office, I represented all of the public housing developments in South Los Angeles, Nicholson Gardens, Jordan Downs, Imperial Courts, Gonzaga Village, Pueblos, all of those. And in working in the public housing units that were in my district at the time, we created programs for job training. We created programs to get people back in school. We created programs to have former gang members get rid of tattoos so that they could clean up their warrants and all of that and get them on the street. Today, I have some of those young people, as a matter of fact, too, in Nicholson Gardens, one of the biggest housing projects in the country, that we got hired when we said to people coming in to do work, you got to hire the people who live in these units. Who live in these units. We got them hired. 2 of them are retiring from the time we got them hired. And worked in Nicholson Garden and done a great job for our community, etc., etc. Ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely believe this. If you care about people, if you love people, if you want to do the best things for our young people, you've got to make sure that you fight for the resources to make it happen.
That's right. That's right.
We cannot get this job done if we don't have the resources of government, and we'll take all the private sector money we can get, but we elect folks to come here and represent us.
That's right. That's right.
All of us. All of us. And so, I don't know what number 45 think he's going to do. He has not seen what happens when we organize and hit the street. He has not seen what people will do when they really understand you're not for their best interest.
That's right.
He's not understood what grandmothers and mothers have been all about as they have fought in these communities for our children and for a better life for us all. Everybody wants a better life.
That's right.
And for those people who think we can be relegated to less than a good quality of life, they got another thought coming. And so, today, as I speak with you, I want Trump and Ben Carson too to hear what I'm saying.
All right!
Tell them make sure they turn their TV on.
As I've said over and over again, Ben Carson may have been a tremendous surgeon. We don't know anything about her. We don't know anything about what we're talking about. When we talk about RAD, and when we talk about the program, when we talk about choice neighborhood, when we talk about everything that we live with every day. And so, I would advise him, if you don't really know anything about it, and you haven't shown that you really care. I heard how you talked about slavery a few weeks ago. Then pack your bags and go back where you came from.
That's right.
Who you have brought to government, all of these billionaires who are in your cabinet. Tell the billionaires they're about to meet up with the people from public housing. Tell them that their money does not frighten us.
That's right.
Tell them that we have been undermined and we have been dealt with by people who've tried this year in and year out historically.
That's right.
But we always manage
to come
to
back.
work hard.
That's right.
And to save lives. And to invest in our communities. And we want more. We need more. We deserve more. And so, are you up to the fight?